Your DNA is being rewritten right now, not tomorrow, not in some distant future, this very moment. Each cell in your body is a cosmic receiver, tuned to universal frequencies most people are blind to. And while the world obsesses over past mistakes and false promises of salvation, the real rapture, the ultimate shift, is unfolding inside you. Institutions would collapse if the truth went mainstream. And here's why. Everything you've been told about time, reality, and your power is a lie. It's all been designed to keep you chained to a fake timeline, while your true potential is hijacked in plain sight. And in the next moments, we'll uncover suppressed codes, hidden truths, and proof that your consciousness isn't just observing reality, it's bending it. Are you ready to break free? What if I told you everything you think is real? Your job, your routines, even your sense of time, is part of a carefully crafted illusion, not just random, but designed to keep you trapped, chasing a story that's not even yours. The bricks of your house, the ticking of the clock, the idea of a future where it all somehow makes sense. What if these are the walls of your prison built to keep you from seeing the truth? Let's get real. You feel it, don't you? That constant pressure to fix the past or prepare for the future. That nagging sense that you're always behind, always waiting for something, anything, to make it better. That's not an accident, it's a system. A system built to keep you leaning forward, off balance, and obedient. For centuries, people in power, religious leaders, governments, elites, have told us salvation is just ahead. A better life, a divine rescue, a utopia. But it's always out of reach, always tomorrow. That's the trick. Because if you're always looking forward, you're never fully here. And when you're not here, you're easy to control. Here's the bombshell. They've sold you on the idea that time is real, that it's this straight line pulling you from a broken past to a redeemed future. But what if time isn't real at all? What if it's just a mental construct, a story they use to keep you in line? Eckhart Tolle, the guy everyone brushed off as a mindfulness guru, wasn't just giving life advice. He was blowing the lid off the whole game. He said the only thing that exists is now. Not the past, not the future, just this moment. And guess what? The more you obsess over the past or worry about the future, the more you suffer. That's the root of all fear, all anxiety. It's not the events, it's your obsession with time. Think about it. If suffering comes from living in this fake mental time machine, what happens when the people in power exploit that? They keep you scared of the future and ashamed of the past, hooked on promises of a salvation that never comes. They sell you fear, they sell you hope, and they sell you everything in between. Look at the big picture. Why do they push stories of a final judgment, a great rapture, a promised land? Because it keeps you waiting. Waiting is weakness. Waiting means you're not acting, not questioning, not living. And as long as you're waiting for some future miracle, you'll never realize the truth. The rapture isn't some event out there. It's something you can access right now, inside you. Let that sink in. If enough people woke up to this, the whole game collapses. Governments, religions, corporations, they all lose their grip. Because their power depends on your fear of tomorrow and your regret about yesterday. Without that, they have nothing. This isn't just philosophy, it's a weapon. A way to cut the leash they've tied around your mind. The moment you step out of their fake timeline and into the present, you're free. Free from fear, free from regret, free from the endless chase. Ask yourself, why is time always sold to us as linear? From a fall to a redemption, from sin to salvation, from failure to success. Why not see it for what it really is? A mental cage. Because if you did, you'd stop playing their game. You'd stop buying their stories, their products, their lies. Here's the twist. You don't need to wait for salvation. You don't need permission to be free. The rapture isn't coming. It's here, in every single moment you choose to be fully present. It's not a date on the calendar. It's a shift in your awareness. And that terrifies the people in power. Because once you wake up, you stop being afraid. You stop being controlled. Think about your life. How much of your energy goes into chasing a better tomorrow? Or fixing what went wrong yesterday? What if you stopped? What if you realized the only thing real is right now? This breath, this heartbeat, this moment. That's where your power is. Not in the future, not in the past. Here's the truth they don't want you to know. The longer you stay hooked on someday, the longer they own you. The more you focus on what's next, the more you're their pawn. But the second you step into the now, you break their grip. Their fear-mongering doesn't work. Their promises lose their pull. You see through the game. This is your wake-up call. The rapture isn't coming to save you. You have to save yourself. Right here, right now. Step out of the story. Stop waiting. Start living. Imagine this. The world as you know it, your fears, anxieties, deadlines, everything is built on a lie. A lie so massive, so deeply ingrained, you don't even see it. What if I told you that lie is time itself? The past and future you obsess over aren't just distractions, they're chains. And while you're trapped in this endless loop, something extraordinary is happening. Quietly, beneath the surface. And no one in power wants you to notice. This isn't science fiction. It's not abstract philosophy. It's real, tangible, measurable, and it's changing lives in ways that defy explanation. Picture this. Researchers, behind closed doors, hooking people up to brain scanners. Not just anyone. These are individuals who've mastered presence, the kind of radical awareness Eckhart Tolle talks about. They've stopped living in the mental noise of yesterday and tomorrow. What happens in those scans? Their brainwaves shift. Coherence spreads across regions that normally fight for dominance. Stressful stimuli that should trigger chaos. Nothing. They stay calm, clear, alive. It's not normal. It's not supposed to happen. Some whispers say it goes deeper, down to the quantum level. Microtubules in the brain, tiny structures we barely understand, start behaving differently. It's as if the brain stops being just a processor and becomes something else entirely. A receiver, tuning into a frequency beyond what we thought possible. And here's the divine truth. These people aren't just feeling better, they're living differently. Old traumas lose their sting. Anxieties about the future evaporate. They start noticing strange patterns in their lives, coincidences piling up, events aligning in ways that feel too perfect to ignore. Call it synchronicity. Call it something else, but it's real, and it's showing up in their day-to-day reality. Now imagine this spreading. One person waking up, then another, then thousands. What happens when a critical mass of people stops living in fear of the future? When they stop being controlled by regrets of the past? You think the world stays the same? It doesn't. It can't. Because if observation changes particles, like the double-slit experiment proved, what happens when entire communities observe from a state of presence? Wars lose their fuel. Chaos unravels. Entire systems of control start to crumble. There's evidence. Clandestine studies in the 1980s showed groups meditating together could reduce violence in war zones. Measurably, repeatedly. Officials called it coincidence. But what if it wasn't? What if those experiments were scratching the surface of something massive? A collective shift in consciousness so profound, it could rewrite the future before it even arrives. This isn't just theoretical. Ancient texts whispered about it for centuries. Gnostic Christians said the kingdom of heaven is here now, but we're too blind to see it. Indigenous shamans spoke of stepping outside time to touch the divine. Even suppressed fragments from the Dead Sea Scrolls hinted at raptures happening inside the individual. Not in the skies, not in some distant apocalypse, but in the heart. A transformation accessible to anyone who learns how to step out of the prison of time. Do you see where this is going? The systems of power, governments, corporations, religious hierarchies, rely on you being stuck. They need you afraid of tomorrow. They need you haunted by yesterday. Because if you stay trapped in time, you're easy to manipulate. Politicians promise salvation in the next election. Corporations dangle products that will fix your future. Religions warn of punishments or rewards after death. The entire machine runs on your belief in a linear timeline. And here's the terrifying truth. Once you realize the present moment is all there ever is, the machine loses its grip. You stop playing their game. But they know this. They've always known. That's why every news cycle hits you with crisis after crisis. Economic collapse, pandemics, wars, climate disasters. It's all designed to keep you anxious, distracted, projecting into a future you can't control. Because the moment you stop, the moment you drop into the now, you become ungovernable. No fear, no manipulation, just clarity, power, and freedom. And it's already happening, quietly, underground. People are waking up. Communities are forming around presence, and their lives are changing in ways no one can explain. Jobs appear at the right moment. Conflicts dissolve without a fight. Entire neighborhoods report drops in crime, even better health outcomes during group meditations. It sounds insane until you experience it, until you see it for yourself. Here's the truth they don't want you to know. You don't need to wait for salvation. It's not coming in the future. It's not hiding in some prophecy. It's here, now. The so-called rapture isn't some apocalyptic event. It's an awakening, a quiet revolution happening inside anyone willing to step out of the illusion of time and into the power of the present. But it's up to you. You can keep believing the lie, waiting for some future moment to save you. Or you can break free, right now, in this moment. Because once you see the signs, once you feel it, you can't go back. And here's the divine part. Once enough of us wake up, the world doesn't just change, it transforms. Reality itself begins to shift. This isn't a theory. It's happening. You're either part of it, or you're still asleep. So the question is, are you ready to wake up? Now imagine this. You're not just your thoughts, not your memories, not your plans for the future. Crazy, right? But that's exactly what Eckhart Tolle says. He argues that you're something much deeper, something beyond all those stories you tell yourself about who you are, like where you were born, the struggles you've faced, or the dreams you're chasing. He points to a version of you that's pure awareness, free from form, living entirely in the present moment. That idea might sound simple, but it's powerful enough to shake up everything we've been taught to believe. Think about it. Fear always has a timeline. You're afraid of what might happen tomorrow or haunted by something painful from the past. But what if you could step out of that? In the now, right here, right now. There's no room for fear. Without fear, you become unstoppable. You're no longer easily controlled or manipulated because nothing can threaten the real you. This is why people in power rely so heavily on keeping you distracted and anxious. They need you stuck in the past or obsessed with the future to maintain control. Now, this might sound super abstract, but Tolle gives practical ways to start experiencing this shift. He suggests simple things. Watch your thoughts like a curious bystander, focus on the energy inside your body, or listen to the silence around you. At first, it might feel like nothing's happening, but stick with it. Over time, you'll notice you're less anxious, less triggered by things that used to upset you. The stress of what if starts to fade, and then something amazing begins to happen. Out of nowhere, life starts to feel different. You bump into the right people at the right time. Opportunities pop up that you didn't even know were possible. Problems that seemed overwhelming either solve themselves or stop feeling like problems. Is it magic? Not really. It's more like you've tuned into a new way of living. A way where the universe feels like it's working with you instead of against you. Tolle doesn't promise you'll suddenly gain superpowers, but he does suggest that when you stop living in fear, your life aligns with a kind of higher intelligence. While everyone else is rushing around, stressed out and chasing goals, you become this calm, steady presence that others can't help but notice. People feel drawn to your stability, and as your energy shifts, the world around you shifts too. Now imagine if more people started doing this. Groups could come together and amplify this feeling of presence. Some people are already experimenting with this, meditating together in what they call presence circles. They report some wild stuff, shared visions, heightened intuition, even subtle shifts in the world outside their group. It's like the energy they create ripples out and changes things in ways we don't fully understand yet. And if enough of these groups form, who knows? Maybe they could act as a kind of global network, gently pulling humanity toward a better way of living. These aren't activists yelling for change or leaders demanding attention. They're just people quietly being present, radiating calm, and creating a ripple effect that's hard to ignore. Here's where it gets interesting. You don't have to take anyone's word for it. Tole's whole thing is that you can test this out for yourself. For the next few weeks, try practicing presence. Watch your thoughts without getting caught up in them. Pay attention to your breath or the sensations in your body. See what happens. Does your anxiety lessen? Do you notice little coincidences happening more often? Keep track of it. Write it down. Treat it like an experiment. If it works, and you feel a shift, you'll start to see through all the fear-based narratives the world throws at you. Once you've felt the freedom of living in the now, it's hard to be scared of the future. It's hard to care about the drama and chaos that once consumed you. You realize that most of what stresses people out is just noise. Noise designed to keep you distracted from this powerful state of being. Why is this all happening now? Maybe it's because the old ways of doing things are falling apart. People are questioning the systems that have kept them stuck for so long. Technology is spreading new ideas faster than ever. And deep down, many of us are craving something real, something beyond the constant cycle of stress and distraction. Tole's message arrives at the perfect time. A reminder that the freedom we're looking for isn't out there. It's right here, in the now. So, what do you think? Are you ready to try it? Ready to step out of the hamster wheel of time-based fear and into something bigger, something timeless? It's not about becoming a guru or giving up your life. It's about realizing you've always been free. You just forgot. Test it for yourself. Live it. And if it works, you won't need anyone to convince you. You'll feel it. And once you do, the world will never look the same again. Let's take these big ideas and break them down into something you can actually use every day. You don't need to understand every theory or concept to feel a change in your life. Knowing you can shift your reality, stop living in fear, and take control of your mind is meaningless if you don't know where to begin. Eckhart Tolle created a system so simple it feels like it can't possibly work. That's the genius of it. Simplicity is the ultimate power move. We're going to break this down step by step so it's practical and impactful. Think of it like learning secret ninja techniques for your mind. These aren't just steps for feeling calmer or happier. They're tools to completely shift how you experience life. Once you get this, you won't just go through the motions of everyday stress and worry. You'll be in control, cutting through fear and illusions that have weighed humanity down for centuries. First step, watch your mind. This sounds too easy, and that's the trick. The ego loves drama and complexity. It thrives on keeping you stuck. But by observing your thoughts, without judging them or chasing them, you start to see them for what they are. Repetitive noise fueled by fear of the future and guilt about the past. Imagine you're stressed about paying bills next month. Your mind immediately spirals. What if I can't pay? What will people think? Instead of getting sucked in, pause. Notice the thought, feel it, but don't grab onto it. Don't label it as a problem or let it define you. It's just a mental cloud passing through your awareness. Toll explains that when you do this, you realize something huge. The part of you observing the thought isn't the same as the part creating it. The observer, your true self, is timeless and free. The thinker is just a chatterbox stuck in time. Every time you notice a thought without reacting, you're breaking out of the mental prison. This might feel small, but it's massive. You're stealing back control from the part of your mind that's kept you stuck for years. Next, focus on the present moment. Yeah, it sounds like a cliche, but it's life-changing. Most of us spend all day worrying about the future or replaying old problems. Instead, bring your attention to what's happening right now. Notice your breath. Feel your heartbeat. Listen to the hum of the room or the sounds around you. When you do this, you're plugging into reality as it actually exists, not the stories in your head. Toll explains that the present is the only thing that's real. The past, just a memory. The future, pure imagination. When you keep your focus on now, everything slows down. Your mind clears. You feel calmer and more focused, like a fog is lifting. But this isn't just about feeling good. When you're present, something crazy happens. You stop collapsing into fear-based decisions and timelines. Solutions to problems appear more easily. Coincidences, what some call synchronicities, start to happen. It's like life begins to flow more smoothly. Next time you're doing something simple, like washing dishes or waiting in line, try fully focusing on the moment. Over time, these little practice sessions add up and start rewiring how you think and act. Even as you get better at being present, old pain and emotional baggage will come up. This is what Toll calls the pain body. It's the part of you that holds on to past hurts and uses them to feed fear and anger. When it shows up, maybe you remember a betrayal or feel anxious about your future. Don't fight it. Don't push it away. Just notice it. Be curious about it, like you're watching an experiment. By letting the pain exist without reacting to it, you start to dissolve it. You're not ignoring it, you're transforming it. Think of the pain body like a parasite that needs your attention to survive. When you stop feeding it, it weakens. Over time, the things that used to trigger you lose their power. You'll feel lighter and less weighed down by life's problems. As you practice presence and let go of the pain body, you free up a huge amount of energy. Instead of wasting mental space on worry or resentment, you'll notice you have more creativity, focus, and inner strength. You'll stop being the person who gets thrown around by life and become the calm center in the middle of chaos. And then, the real magic starts. You'll notice life reacting differently to you. The things you were stressed about, like money, relationships, or work, often begin to work themselves out. Maybe an unexpected opportunity shows up, or someone steps in to help just when you need it. When you stop bringing old fears and future worries into every situation, things naturally start to flow better. These shifts might seem like coincidences, but they're not random. Toll says when you live in the present, you align yourself with a deeper intelligence, the flow of life itself. Problems that seemed impossible before feel manageable because you're no longer blocking the solutions with mental noise. At first, it might feel like you're the only one doing this. The world is obsessed with fear and time. Constant news about disasters, ads telling you you're not good enough until you buy something, and people stuck in cycles of regret and blame. You can't change everyone, but you can be an example. When you're calm and present, people notice. They'll wonder how you stay so steady when everything feels chaotic. Some might even ask how you do it. Find others who get it. Start or join a small group to meditate together, share insights, or just support each other in staying present. Being around like-minded people makes it easier to stay on track. You don't need a huge crowd. Just a few people practicing presence can create a ripple effect. When life throws challenges at you, like stress at work or scary news headlines, use them as practice. Instead of panicking, pause. Ask yourself, what's actually happening right now? Most of the time, the immediate moment is okay. By staying grounded in the now, you'll handle tough situations with more clarity and strength. Some people worry that living in the present means they'll stop striving for goals or planning for the future. That's not true. Tolle says there's a difference between practical planning and obsessive worrying. You can set goals and work toward them without losing your presence. In fact, being present makes you better at achieving your goals because you're more focused and less reactive. As you get better at this, your presence will start to influence others. Co-workers might notice you handle stress differently. Relationships may improve because you're not dragging past fights or future expectations into every interaction. The more people who practice this, the bigger the impact. Imagine communities where presence becomes the norm. Less fear, less burnout, more connection. Tolle believes this is how humanity evolves, not through dramatic revolutions, but through quiet, individual transformations that spread. If enough people wake up to the power of presence, we could see a world that operates in a completely new way. So how do you start? Take a few minutes each day to focus on your breath and observe your thoughts. Spend time in nature without labeling what you see. Notice your top stress triggers and practice staying present when they come up. Build small routines like brushing your teeth or walking into moments of presence. Find people who support your journey. Test yourself in stressful situations to see how staying grounded changes the outcome. The more you do this, the more your life will shift. At first, it's subtle. Over weeks and months, it becomes profound. You'll stop waiting for some future event to save you or fearing the next disaster. You'll find a deep peace and strength that feels unshakable. This isn't just about making your life better. It's about being part of a global transformation. Every moment you choose presence adds to a collective shift that could change the world. So start now. The revolution isn't coming. It's already here, hidden in the space between your thoughts. You've just uncovered a simple but powerful truth. Living fully in the present can change everything. It frees you from fear, reshapes your perspective, and quietly inspires others to do the same. This isn't about convincing anyone or preaching a philosophy. It's about embodying presence in your own life and letting the results speak for themselves. Start with small steps. Practice presence daily. Share the insights naturally and notice how life begins to align in surprising ways. Whether it's a better connection with others, unexpected opportunities, or a deeper sense of peace. The effects are real and undeniable. If this message speaks to you, let's amplify it together. Drop the words, "I am present," in the comments to show you're part of this shift. Share this with someone ready to step into their power. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights like this. The change begins with us, and it starts now. This isn't about fixing the world or leading a movement. It's about showing up moment by moment and letting your clarity ripple out. The more people who step into this awareness, the more our collective reality shifts. Not through force, but through quiet, steady change. The choice is yours. Stay stuck in the noise of fear and distraction, or lean into the freedom and power of the now. Test it, live it, and watch how it transforms not just your life, but the world around you.